pleasure having you on the link once again. Thank you for joining us tonight. We continue to discuss information that you can use and opportunities. And we have been complaining about the link being, kind of short. We hope we can have more time in the near future, to make the link longer so that our guests can give us, more details. However, tonight we're discussing negotiations, especially in business. When you're going to negotiate, how should you go about it? And in the studio, I have the right person to speak about this, Mr. Chris Nsubuga, who is a certified premium coach with Gravity Impact. Chris, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Negotiation.
Yeah.
How do I prepare? Because I must be prepared.
That's true.
Yes.
So I think, first of all, little story. Many years ago, I had the president of Uganda,
yes,
His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, saying, negotiation is the art of trading threats. Okay. Interesting. Now, there's people who approach negotiation from that perspective. Of course, he's speaking like a soldier. He's Sabarwani, so it's military the way he approaches it. But in business, I think it's important that you know what you want to get out of it, and you want to continue doing business with somebody, because the longer you do business with someone, and the more the cycles of business is, the more of the value you get. So you want it to be a win-win situation, and not necessarily a win-lose situation. So it's not the art of trading threats, it's actually the art of how do you get the best out of it, while also making sure that the person you're negotiating with lives with a good taste in their mouth.
For continuity and so on.
For continuity, absolutely. So then you'll find that it's important for you to get to know the person. What are their interests? How much can they afford? Find out what their budget is. Find out what their negotiation style is and their approach is. And then also be anchored in what your values are. Dr. F.F. Tusubira, who is commonly called Tusu in the Rotary circles in Uganda, was once doing a lecture with the Harvest Institute. And he said he defined values as the line which, if one crosses, we fight. Okay, so you need to know what your values are as you get into any negotiation, and probably what the other person's values are, the lines they won't cross and the lines you won't cross. So I think that's very helpful in getting into a negotiation. Also, I think it's important to define your objectives. This is what I want to get out of it, but also to know the point at which you walk away, because there will be other options. I think because we don't have a lot of time, I'll just go with that.
Okay. And we're going to come back probably to the end of when do I walk away. Okay. Let's say I've done my homework, and the big thing I take away from your first answer is do some homework apart from internal readiness. I've done my homework. Is there a criteria to follow once I am on the table?
I think there is. I think it's Donald Trump that keeps advising you need to start strong in a negotiation. He's the president of America, and we've already seen what he did with Ukraine, or what he did with Gaza Strip. He says we're going to take over Gaza Strip and make it some big holiday destination. Or Ukraine, you've been taking away American dollars in arms. We want your minerals. So you need to have a very big ask as you come onto the negotiation table, because the person you're negotiating with needs to be very clear where you're coming from and what you're interested in. I think that having a strong opening strategy is important. It's also important for you to portray confidence. In this area, Donald Trump has informed some of my thinking, not all, but some of it over the years. There's a book he wrote with Bill Zanker. It's called Think Big. And in that book, when they were talking about negotiations, they said you need to put on your most expensive suit because it is important what you feel like.
Yes.
All right. So Bill Zanka was talking about wearing a $5,000 suit and having a wad of cash on you, because when you negotiate and you're broke or hungry, it's a bad idea. So
you are deleveraged.
Yeah. So little things like make sure you're comfortable. Have a full tummy. Don't be desperate as you get into any form of negotiation, because it plays on your mind and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then also, I think that it's important to listen actively as you're negotiating, because the idea is not to win and the person loses.
Yeah.
The idea is to hear them out. What are they really interested in? And then get in there looking for opportunities. With every negotiation, certain doors open where you can be able to widen the cake, as it were, so that someone can see more value in what you're talking about, and then you're able then to slice off the part of the cake that you need to walk
Things
away
you didn't
with.
anticipate can just happen.
Absolutely.
Okay, very well. How critical is mindset? You touched it a little bit of don't go desperate.
Yeah.
How critical is my mindset when I sit on this table? Okay, I'm not there to lose or make that person lose, but how critical is my mindset, and what might it be even?
I think that especially for business, it's important for you to be confident.
Absolutely.
To be calm as you negotiate, to have your emotions under control, but also to be assertive in a way, not aggressive.
No, I understand assertive.
Not permissive, but assertive.
Yes.
Where you put your foot down on certain things and say, I'm sorry, I can't go there. This is where we are. Little story, many years ago, about 2000, which would be 25 years ago. We had some friends of mine and I went to Tanzania. And the Tanzanians are really good at artwork. So we had this friend of ours who did artwork, just like, imagine dancing cartoons, nearly human figures. And we could afford the price at which he was doing that artwork. So we paid for them, about 6 pieces. And why we paid for them is we thought that we can use them in Uganda, because he had sold some of his artwork to Clouds FM in Dar es Salaam. So we decided we're going to come and sell the same artwork, or some different, some fresh, to Sanyo FM in Uganda. And so we go, I think there was an MD, I forget his name, Azam or something like that. We talked to him. He was a little bit, he was bragging and that kind of thing, and he did his level best to intimidate us. He put his feet on the table and crossed them, and he was talking to us like we're trash. Well, we said, look, this is what we're proposing, and he tried to shake us, but he didn't quite shake us off. He really liked what we're selling. And so he suggested it to Sudhir. And then Sudhir calls for us to go for a meeting with him. Now, this was the point where we got leverage. When he got before Sudhir's presence, the braggadocious guy who was putting his feet up on the table was no longer doing that. He was shaking like a leaf. So Sudhir says, come and show me what it is you're saying. So he goes and he's using his little pinky finger and he's describing the thing that we're talking about and that kind of thing. And that's, I think it's nice and all that stuff. And we're sitting there and we're watching a movie, we're thinking, this was the guy treating us like that. So you
read the change of energy.
You need to read the body language and that kind of thing. And so we're like, advantage to us. So Sudhir asked us how much it is we want, and we have this huge figure for each art piece, which was maybe what? Was it like 5-10 times more than what we had paid for it? And then he says, he always negotiates for a discount. He says, no, I'll give you this. We said, no, sir. He says, no, I'll give you this. That's my last price. We said, okay, good. We walked away with about 7 times what we bought each. Because we were able to read the language, right? And he was happy to pay it because it was peanuts for him. And we flew all the way to go get the work done, so it was a handsome deal.
Okay, my takeaway there: pay attention. Even when you think you're deleveraged, stay alert for a change of something in the room.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
When do I know I'm losing? Or winning, actually?
So let's start with winning, because winning is important.
Yeah.
I think you get to know you're winning when the deal is coming to you with terms that are favorable to you. Okay. You've got what it is you needed from the deal.
Yeah.
In other words, I like to say you have a good taste in the mouth. It's not like there's sand in your mouth. You're feeling, cheated or something like that.
Yeah.
You know you're winning when you can be able to leverage this deal for more deals.
Yes.
All right. Let's say it's a land deal and you've bought a piece that you really like. There's more land that this person has to sell.
Yeah.
And you've been able to structure the deal in such a way that you can come back. Right? And you know that you're winning when you can do business with this person one more time or many more times.
Yeah. And you have even the feeling of satisfaction.
And more so that you have a relationship that has developed, because people don't do business with things. People do business with people. So they like you, they've enjoyed doing business with you, you've enjoyed doing business with them, everyone is happy leaving the table. You're losing when you consider too early. Sometimes you're shaken up a little bit and you concede too early, or you give concessions when you're giving away something but you're not getting something back. Yes. All right, so it's a lopsided deal. You're definitely losing. You're definitely losing if you're not getting your bottom line out of it, and especially if you've done it in a hurry. So sometimes what you need to do is to just slow down.
Quick question.
Yes.
At that point, when do I walk away and say,
Everyone has got
in 30 seconds.
Everyone has a bottom line.
Yeah.
You've got a point at which you will look for an alternative and say, I can't do that. All right. It's either a price point or a value point or a relational point.
I like those points.
Yeah. So there's a point at which you say we won't do that. Say for example, it's possible that you're doing a deal. Let's say it's a land deal.
Yeah.
Okay. You're happy to pay the price. You like the land, but the person selling the land is cheating their parent or something. They're old and vulnerable, but you have a high value of honor. So you are basically trying to get me to dishonor your parent. I'm not going to do it. I like the land, the price was good, the values were wrong.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah. I always cut my I hate it. I always cut my guests up when they're still talking, and I'm sure the audience is saying, the guy is making a point and we're stopping. We apologize, audience. We hope we will get more time, and this time I'm serious. We really hope this company is going to give us more time so that we don't interrupt Chris when he's still finishing a point. We hope we added value to you tonight on negotiation, and if I get more time, I'll bring him back. I promise. That was the link. Thank you for joining us tonight.